Hello everyone, my name is Soumita and today I am here to connect with all of you for sharing a very interesting tip for cracking your IELTS exams. So to introduce myself, I have almost 10 years of experience in teaching and education counseling, wherein I have trained over 1,000 students for various exams, and one of those is IELTS exam, which is the most popular language proficiency test. Apart from that, I have been an accomplished career counselor, and I have also taught and counseled more than 500 students for their various career decisions as various stages of their career, right from grade 8 to grade 12. So today I believe this session would be really useful for you and would help you perform much better in your IELTS exams. Thank you. Welcome students. So today we will see how we can really ace the writing task of IELTS exam. Okay, so we know that IELTS basically comprises of 4 sections, out of which the writing section is one of the most crucial one that decides your overall grade. And one of the drawbacks, or I would say one of the challenges when you solve the writing section, is you do not get score automatically. It is completely subjective, and you have to perform at your best of your English language skills to make a good result of your IELTS writing task. So today we shall cover what are the 4 sections and how basically we are going to perform the best in both the IELTS academic as well as IELTS general writing task. Okay, so let's proceed. As you know, it is called the International English Language Testing System and is the most widely accepted language proficiency test, whether you want to pursue your higher education abroad, or even if you are applying for a PR, a permanent residentship, or a job in countries like Canada, Australia, and the UK, and also the US as well. So IELTS is a mandatory exam that the students or the professionals need to write. Okay. There are 2 categories of IELTS exam. One is the academic IELTS, which basically means if you are a student or you are a professional, but you are planning to go for your higher education to some country, to one of the native speaking countries, or even countries where English is not the native language, still they want to see your English proficiency. So second one is IELTS general, which is required for jobs or permanent residential. Okay, so we have 2 types of IELTS. Remember, when you have to book your IELTS, if you are clueless which test you have to select, if you're going for higher education, select IELTS academic. If you're going abroad for any other purpose, you have to select IELTS general. Okay, so 4 sections of IELTS. Many of you who might have seen or practiced IELTS, you have seen that, okay, there are 4 sections. One is reading, second listening, then speaking, then writing. Reading and listening, these 2 sections have their challenges, but you can overcome it with good practice. Okay. And these 2 sections are scored objectively. That means you have point scorer, 40 questions, 40 marks, out of which whatever you score, that is converted into your band. Okay. Speaking is one section, the shortest section, which takes around 15 to 20 minutes, which happens in an interview format. Okay. So you are assigned a date for your speaking test. You go to the center, you will be called inside a closed cabin the evaluator or the examiner will ask questions to you in interview format and you have to respond to that. And that is how your speaking is evaluated. Remember, when you do your speaking test, your responses are recorded also, which is again evaluated by another person. So when two people together evaluate, then when you get a confirmed score, that is your final score. And finally, the writing test. Okay, you have two components of the writing task. One is an essay, the other is an analytical writing task. Okay, so task 1 and task 2. So let's start with task 2, because this section is common for both academic and general. What happens, you basically have to write an essay. And the topic, we usually do not call it a topic, we call it a prompt, because this comes in the form of a statement. And you have to construct an essay with good examples and good articulation, proper grammar, and proper sentence construction, and express your view whether in agreement or disagreement with the given prompt. How? I will explain it further with the topic. Okay. The time allowed for this section is 40 minutes. Okay, so 40 minutes you get to think, to write, to review, and you submit. Okay. The word limit, please pay attention. The word limit is minimum 250 words. That means you can write up to 500 words, no problem, but do not write anything less than 250 words. Okay. So IELTS is an exam that gives you the minimum word limit, unlike any other exam or any other test for an essay that gives you the maximum word limit. Okay. So the first thing, you have a very high chance to lose score if your essay is less than 250 words. Okay. Now coming to IELTS Task 1. IELTS Task 1 is different for academic and for general. Okay, let's first discuss what is IELTS Task 1 in academics. In IELTS Academic, the Task 1 is data interpretation through description. That means you are either given a pie chart or a bar diagram. You have to read and understand the information given in the data. There will be no written text, only a data. And then you have to interpret that data in the form of a short essay, which should comprise of minimum 200 words. Okay, again, minimum 200 words. All right. Here, maximum you can write up to 250. You do not need to write more than that because the data is generally concise. And the time allotted would be 20 minutes. IELTS General does not ask you to interpret any data. Rather, they ask you to draft a formal letter. Okay. Generally, it is an official letter and written with some kind of official purpose to a concerned authority. Okay. The same thing, 20 minutes, 200 words minimum. Right. Now, here we see that how can we perform the best in our essay task, okay, in our writing task, and out of it in the essay task. We all know the most important points that we have to keep in mind is you have to be very good with your grammar, okay, and your composition must also make sense. Let us see an example. The first step is read the prompt well. Read the prompt properly, understand it, and then create your content. Over here, it says technologies and ways of buying and selling are transforming lives of consumers. Okay. Technologies and ways of buying and selling are transforming the lives of consumers. To what extent do you agree or disagree with this opinion? Okay, this is an opinion essay. You have to agree or you have to disagree. You may agree, you may disagree. Remember, there is no rule that you should go. Generally people may agree with this, you may choose to disagree with this as well. Okay, whatever side you select, you have to be firm with that. Give yourself 2 to 3 minutes. You have 40 minutes. Give yourself 2 to 3 minutes to accumulate points. Okay, you can think is favor or against the prompt. You have to think both ways. You can support any one way, but you have to think of points. Let's say if I'm supporting this, I say that yes, I totally agree that technologies have transformed life. But there are certain cons, there are certain drawbacks of that. I have to keep in mind both. I have to accumulate both the points. I mean, points for both the sections. Okay. Now, the fun part is think and accumulate points that you would not support your view. Okay, you might find this questionable, that what I'm saying, if I have to agree or disagree on a point, if I have to like say write points in support of my view, why should I think of writing something against my view? That is the catch. That is something that will make your essay unique. Okay, here the third point was open with a good thought-provoking introduction. Okay, thought-provoking introduction means a very natural introduction as you start. Technology is not just a mode of carrying out your regular life. Technology is rather a revolution. Technology has its involvement in every sphere of our life, and to a lot of extent, it has made our lives easier and also dependent. Okay, maybe you can open it like this. I have not used any quote, I have not quoted any person. Like once upon a time, Steve Jobs said something or Stephen Hawking said something. Don't do that. Okay, that generally doesn't add a lot to your overall essay. Now, so when we are saying accumulate points, so suppose I feel that technology has added a lot of advantages to our lives, but overall I feel it has more cons than pros. So I will start with the pros. I'll say technology has definitely made our lives easier. Just in the click of your mobile phone or your computer keypad, you can have anything that you want at your doorstep, because this prompt is basically about buying and selling. Okay, you can enhance your business quickly, just over a matter of few weeks. You have to spend time and you have to think of some strategies, and you will have access to more customers. As a buyer and as a customer, you will have plenty of options without leaving home. And especially during this era of pandemic, where leaving home is kind of a threat that we have to our health. But this online selling and buying or purchasing and selling process has made our lives easier. I have spoken about the pros. Now let me tell you some of the cons. Okay, so here now you have to counter your previous paragraph with the points which are the cons. That means you start with praise of how technology has made life easier, then you point out the cons and which are very prominent despite the pros. Okay, so now the thing is, you have to strengthen your argument that you believe. There should be examples. The most important thing is use live example, use practical examples. For example, when I am saying that it has made us dependent, how you have to show. Okay, it does not ensure quality. How? Online purchasing may not ensure quality. You can be shown something in the picture, you can get something else. Okay, so these are the points you can think of that will strengthen your argument, that you'll say that no, it has it is an advantage, but it has not transformed our lives. Okay, so this is how you put it through. So the idea is, start with a very good introduction, place the points or put across the points against your view. Now write the points in your view. So by the time you reach the conclusion, you will be able to give a very strong conclusion without even using I agree or I disagree or hence I agree. Now, when you start writing about the good points of online purchasing and selling, and then suddenly you start with phrases like, however, despite these benefits, although online selling and purchasing has been convenient, so it will be gripping the reader. The evaluator will always try to see, okay, will always wait for, okay, there is something new that is coming in from your essay. It is not boring, it is not monotonous, or it is not something which can be, easily understood before it concludes. Okay. Do not make your essay highly predictable in the beginning so that the concentration remains till the end of the evaluator. Okay. Now, when the evaluator sees that you have only used examples and every point that you have made in favor of your view has been supported with examples, you have really done well in your essay task. That is what is needed. Okay. This is a very effective way, and in my experience, I have seen my students, when thoroughly implemented these methods, they did not score anything less than a 7 band in writing, which is very cool. Anything less than a 7 band. The higher, the better. Writing is the section where you generally score around 8 to be the highest. Okay, it really goes above 8 because British Council and IDP both believe, the organizing bodies of IELTS, they generally restrict it to 8. Even if you are scoring a 7.5 and 8, and even if you make a record of scoring of an 8.5 in writing, nothing like that. So this is how you must structurally follow the uh, rules, or the best techniques of making a powerful essay. Now let us come to academic task 1. Ideally, it is the easiest section and the most, bankable section in terms of marks. You just have to write for 20 minutes, minimum word 200, and trust me, you will not have content to write more than 250 words. Okay. So those 250 words can do real magic. The only thing you have to do is, here you see I have given a typical question. Okay. The graph below shows the percentage of part-time workers in each of the countries. In between, they have given a year span, 1980 to 2010. Okay. Summarize the information by selecting and reporting the main comparisons and make comparisons wherever necessary. So the thing is, when you are making comparison, you see there are 4 countries. Okay, and the green one is 1980 and the blue one is 2000 part-time workers. Okay, so you see in England in 2010 the number of part-time workers was almost 15% higher. Okay, or 10% higher. So this is how you start making the comparison. So here you first will have to read and observe the data carefully. You can see what kind of comparisons can be made. You can make 2 types of comparison over here. Like same country, 2 different years, and in that way there will be 1, 2, 3, 4 set of comparison. Then one country as opposed to the other country for each of the criteria. So 4 again. So 8 set of comparisons. Okay. Remember, if you miss out any potential comparison, you can lose marks. Suppose you only compare in England, in 1980 the number of part-time workers was less, but in 2010 it was more, and in Northern Ireland this was less and that was more. So you do not just have to make comparison between 1980 and 2010 of that particular country. You have to make a comparison between England and Scotland and Wales, okay, the different parts of UK. So you got the graph with you, so you have to make relevant comparison. So the catch here is you have to make use of your grammatical knowledge of conjunctions and punctuations. Okay. Conjunctions means how you can connect two sentences properly, or how you can begin, or how you can, uh, end a particular sentence. Here in this case, suppose when you are going to start, you can say, from the graph we can infer, from the graph we can understand, from the graph we can deduce. You can use such phrases. Now, as you go on, instead of saying in 1980 England had less number of people working as part-time, whereas in 2010 more number of people were working part-time. In Scotland this number of people were working. Instead of saying that, you will use conjunctions like while, whereas, however. Okay, you can make a comparison. We see that in England, towards the later part of 30 years hence, in 2010, the number of part-time workers was actually higher. However, the trend was completely different in Scotland. However, the trend was completely the same in New Wales, okay, or in Wales. So this is how you make your comparisons. Do not make the sentences repetitive, okay. Do not make it appear like bullet points. Very importantly, it should look like a report. This is what you have to do. Data interpretation reporting. So you have to use good vocabulary, you have to use good sentences, you have to make proper use of conjunctions and punctuations. Grammar must be perfectly all right, perfectly correct. Okay, so it has these four other elements. You do not have a place to show your creativity over here, because the rule is you cannot bring in any information, you cannot make any inference which is not given in the data. Okay, so here suppose you conclude your essay in this case saying that, okay, so we see overall it is just the time that has made one of the states more populated with part-time workers, because part-time jobs were more paying and more rewarding. That's why more people decided to choose part-time job. No, we cannot say that. Rewarding, more paying, they had more time, they wanted to utilize their time. Nothing has been revealed in this data. Okay, so any such inference will be detrimental to your essay, because you will be negatively marked for that. Okay, despite writing a very good essay, a grammatically correct essay with very nice sentences and everything, finally you will lose marks if you try to add information which is not there in the data. So this is very important. Many students make this kind of mistakes, and this is where we have to work. Proceeding with the next task, which is IELTS General Task 1. Okay, this is again completely different from academic. You will be given a prompt or a topic. In this case, you see, it says that you work for a company, you have seen some information online about a training course that would be useful for your work. Write a letter to your manager. In your letter, give details of the course, say how the course will be useful, explain how the company could help you do this course. Okay, this is a formal letter. You are writing to your manager. Okay, generally the conventions you use in your official email, it has to start like that. Sir, or you can even write dear sir or ma'am. Okay, then write the name of your company. then begin. I am writing this for to take, or I am writing this to take your attention to a course that I have recently discovered online and felt it was important to share this information with you. Something like this. You open the note like this. Talk about what is given. Generally, the letter task is quite easy because they give you the information what you must write. Okay, this is one example. One example can be, somewhat less formal. Like suppose you have borrowed a book from the library and you have not returned it on the due date, and you are unable to return it still, so you are writing an apology letter and an extension to the librarian. Okay, so now you must be wondering how such topics can be of 200 words, because you have to give reason, you have to give explanation. When it says give the details of the course, so you have to write every detail of the course, like the duration, the cost, and then what will be the mode of teaching. Would you need leave from the company if you wish to pursue this course? If this course can be done during the work hours, how you think this can be accommodated with your work hours? Then how the course would be useful. You have to write how this is useful in terms of your personal and professional growth. Will it open further opportunity for you? And will it make your productivity even stronger, that you would be able to contribute better for your organization? Remember, in this case, I think, certain things are examined very carefully. Suppose you say that if I do this course, this master's program in artificial intelligence, I will be equipped to grow further in my career and I will get better prospect. Why will your company even fund you if you want to go ahead and work somewhere else, and by taking this course? So when they say how the course will be useful for you, so you have to talk in this context. You have to talk how this course will be even useful for you while you are, making a contribution to your company. Okay. So the best technique is, it should be formal and should not be less than 200 words, and it should always remain to the point. Do not deviate. Do not start giving random statistics. Do not start giving random data. Okay. So with this, I come to a conclusion. These are some of the really, really helpful techniques for your IELTS writing task. And I would love to help you further to connect you. And to connect with me, you can visit my UrbanPro profile. Over there, I am an official tutor and I help students for cracking IELTS exams. And stay tuned for my further articles which I post on UrbanPro for how you can ace the reading and the listening or the speaking sections. And let's work together towards your success in the IELTS exam. Thank you so much.